is your boy, Deacon Django. We are here again. Another episode of The Devil and I want to thank everybody for joining us in today. We're going to have us a great time. A fun show. And of course, we're going to hit us up some trending. I want to thank all my Advocates fans for joining us in today on this spring-like. It's a spring-like Friday, is it not?
Yeah, real nice. All the rain we've been getting this week has been terrible.
Well, that means I'm going to have to cut my yard in about...
Probably today.
Yeah, probably today. and everybody look out for the post that people going to be barbecuing. We'll get to crank up the grill this weekend, especially if it stays in the 60s. So thank everybody for joining us. I want to say what's up. I got my two co-hosts here. Of course, my main man, brother from the, he don't ever grow no hair though. My man here, Sanford. What's up? Tell people what's up.
What's up?
Okay, and of course, my fam, he out here today joining us in. He's a mixture between Morris Chestnut and, of course, Boris Cudjoe, Mr. Cudjoe Chestnut. How you doing there, son?
I'm in the building. How y'all doing?
Okay.
Glad to be here this morning.
Okay. And of course, our elder statesman, he's over here. He looking a little serious today. I don't know if he's looking and stuff. But, of course, our elder statesman, Mr. Super Dave. What's going on, bro, man?
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. You're not angry today, are you?
I'm angry every day. It's in my DNA. I'm a black man living in America.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll do it. That'll do it. So, today, of course, we are getting ready to go in. We've got we're going to start a new, fresh series, and this is about issues dealing with each other because it goes in a long, wide-reaching array of stuff that we have, and it's called You Cannot Compete Where You Don't Compare. And we were talking about this. It was on a post, of course. Our Highway Cowboy Rondon put it in there, and it was actually off a relationship post, and it was about why sisters sit around here and they will date a drug dealer, and then will sit around here when they get older and want a man with a degree. So. I get, and the reason why we put that out there because it was an issue with somebody here in Little Rock. There was actually a teacher that ended up, I guess, dating a drug dealer.
Yeah, going to jail for it or was arrested.
Yeah, so that's about as much as that we gonna touch right now until it goes, gets adjudicated, as we say in legal commonality. But
It's all alleged right now.
Yeah, it's allegedly. That's what we call it.
But younger females, they've always tended to like the bad boys, the gangsters, the drug dealers are always fun. Plus, they see all that money. A guy with a degree didn't necessarily have a lot. He didn't have the flashy cars. And girls, if you have shiny things when they're young, that's what they want. Shiny things. Then when they get older, that's when they start wanting that 401k and insurance benefits because their teeth start hurting and need some dental treatment.
Talk to us here, Seven, because I think it's kind of funny. I've seen this, and I think that's what it really boiled down to, because it actually piggybacked off another post called "If Women Are Always Right, Why They Always Picking the Wrong Type of Men."
Yeah, well, I'm just they're not always right. I mean, well, in their defense, they said it's just the young girls, like he was saying, it's just the younger girls see all that flash and that's what those guys have, so they go after them. But the older ones, if you look at the comments on that post, they was talking about they was like that when they were young, but when they got older, they grew out of it. So,
I guess it's kind of different, and I don't mean to beat up on the sisters about this, but it's kind of different because even young guys, okay, so sisters not really big into drug dealing, unless their name is Griselda Blanco, but let's just say we're in our 20s. As a guy, would you be comfortable dating a woman that's a booster? EBT? You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
Now or back then?
No, back then.
Back then,
You can get some nice stuff now in college. You get to,
right.
Yeah, you can get some nice. Yeah, right. No comment, because
not dating.
No, I wouldn't date one. I wouldn't feel comfortable because I don't want to go to jail.
Right.
Want your door kicked in the middle of the night.
Okay.
And stuff. And I think what it boils down to, and we all talk about it, is the character of the person that you're dealing with. And the reason why I say it's the character, it's all about whether or not the person you're dealing with has some sort of, how can we say it? they have some sort of issues with their value set. Okay, because usually this is what I find out: women that will date a drug dealer, okay, or date a guy or a dope boy or a trap, dude in the trap, as we call it, because think about it. Think about the movie Power. That's kind of a cross between both, aren't they? Because Ghost. I ain't going to talk Dave. Dave said he refuses to watch it for whatever reason. but Dave, Stars is 99 cents this year. If you go ahead and they're knocking the price down for Stars for 99 cents, bro. I just wanted to put you on it. That's 9 and a 9, like 1 penny short of $1. Okay. And what it is that I think women are moored with the idea of people like Ghost. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's a dope boy, or at least a trying to be reformed dope boy. But he has it all. But he carries himself like an educated man, an educated college man. He's very business savvy. He dresses very well. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Chris Clean Cat, no caffeine. Laid, dressed nice, manicured. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because most women don't equate a dope boy to that, unless they become Tony Montana, So right.
And see, that's the hope that most women have that their dope boy is going to be. Because I know a few former ex dope boys, they started out doing their thing, they got the money together, and they invested it into something legal. Right. So now they.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, there you go.
And now y'all can hear me.
Yeah, we.
All right.
It was good. You just kind of cut out right there.
Okay, it's probably the people listening, but I know a lot of reformed drug boys, D boys. They did their thing. They got their money up, and then they invested it into something legal and left that drug business behind. And when they go into it, there's always the justification that I'm just doing this to get this money. When I get enough money, I'm going to go ahead and become legal. I'm going to become, a good citizen. And that's what a lot of women are banking on. They say, okay, we get this fast money. Then then we're going to get out the game. We're going to live happily ever after. That's only like 15% of that ever happens. Right. The other 85%, they go to jail.
But because
I never stop.
But that's because like Gucci Rap used to say, yo, you didn't want to be involved, but the money will get you. And that's the problem. Is like, when you've been doing that stuff 5-10 years, when do you be like, yo, I got to stop this because, it's like, but we got this money. Look, we got these fly rides. You know what I'm saying? The whips is popping. You getting your hair and nails did every week, probably every couple of days. And then, you get these guys that come in, they're educated, college degree, did everything by the book, the Great American Dream or the Great American Lie for black folks. That's what I call it. Went to school, was an athlete, you know what I'm saying? Got him a degree, 4.0, graduated with honors, went out here and got him a good job. But he only making $45,000 walking out the door in college. You see what I'm saying? Now he's got college loans, school loans. Now he's trying to go out here. He can't afford to buy, a Mercedes. He has to go out here and buy him a Toyota or a Honda. You see what I'm saying? And it gets to a point now. Don't get me wrong. You got some brothers that have been, and this is what I've noticed from sisters who used to date the brothers in the gang. A lot of times when you see them branch out, they're gonna branch out to. Got a phone call? Oh, no, okay. You see them branch out to guys who used to be dope boys. They're gonna branch out from that, and they'll branch out to guys who have what I call years on the job. They branch out to guys that are, how can I say it, established in their jobs. The guys who got 401ks, guys who got years of service in. Because see, here's the problem with the mentality of dating a guy, and this is why I say you can't compete where you don't compare. When it comes to that, you want, when that mentality gets of having comfort, having luxury, having this, they're gonna get a guy that's gonna have them set up with a nest egg, especially when they get older. You see what I'm saying? And don't get it twisted. I've seen some sisters date dope guys up into their 40s.
Whoa.
Yeah. I know some that still date some.
Well, those are what you call a long-term hood rats. They'll, those type of women, they'll still do those hood rat type of things in their 60s. So I know exactly who you're talking about.
Well, you said who? You said who or what? I wasn't listening.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. And some of them ain't necessarily hood rats. Some of them are sisters just looking for an easy way.
Yeah,
it gets hard out there.
It's hard out there for. I guess.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and we talk about that relationship forum side. Let's go ahead and talk about us as a people, because let's just talk about this. As we see that the movie Black Panther, and don't get me wrong, hopefully this is the last week we're gonna have to talk about Black Panther. We talked about it last week. Me and Dave had a great comic book nerd forum on Black Panther. When we say you don't when you don't you can't compete when you don't compare. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. I think I had a little too much coffee this morning, ladies and gentlemen. So now Black Panther is getting ready to hit $1 billion. $1 billion. That's one with like 8 zeros behind it. Is that 8 or 9? But it's going to go ahead and go into the annals of Blockbuster, which it already was actually going into the first week. It had already doubled its production money. Okay, so when we talk about this, when we talk about get compete, people are still having a fit about this movie. and I heard that now they're saying that conservatives, I'm not going to mention of what persuasion they might be, are upset because of Black Panther. Now, why is that? Why would, and see, the reason I have to get angry with this is because we talk about you can't compete where you don't, you can't compete where you don't compare.
Right.
I saw this on the show. Somebody slewed this video around about this little Bonnie Ruckus named Deneen Borelli, and she tried to put out a video about Denzel Washington. Now, for those of you guys who do not know, Denzel Washington is a Republican.
He is?
Yeah, he's a Hollywood Republican.
Dang.
He's you know that, Kudja?
No, I didn't know that.
Huh?
I didn't know that.
He has made it known that he is a Republican.
Dang.
Now, he's not a typical conservative Republican. He's what you call a Hollywood Republican, like Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, Adam Sandler. He's a Hollywood Republican. He's just black. Okay. Now, he said around here, she compared a video with Denzel Washington and Al Sharpton. Now, why get him? Because he's a firebrand. And she was arguing that what the issues that we have here in the problem, and this is what I can't stand, is when I see black people co-sign with white people that justify our own Holocaust. The problem with the black family is lack of discipline. The problem with the black family is lack of self-control, bad family raising, absentees of the father in the household, and all of this nonsense. Okay. I'm sorry, Dave. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I saw you wave. Okay. Now let's have an argument here about this. The reason why there was a fallacy with her argument because she was trying to compare it to what Reverend Al Sharpton was saying, and Reverend Al Sharpton was saying he was talking about the disparities in the criminal justice system. Mm-hmm. Okay. Discretionary sentencing, disparity in sentencing guidelines, and stuff like this. You don't compete when you can't compare. So here's the problem with that. When I see people sit around here and want to argue, well, that's the problem with the black family. The reason why black people, we inherently violent. Black people don't have no dads growing up. Black people don't do this. There's no self-discipline in the household. This, that, and other. Now, look, don't get it twisted. Are we talking about black folks? Or we talking about Negroes? And you know what I mean when I say that word.
Well, they always say that every time, like, when Trayvon Martin got killed,
right,
they start talking about the black community. It's like they deflect away from the issue at hand.
Right.
Because Trayvon Martin, I mean, he had he was born in wedlock. His parents were together. They just divorced, and they were still in his life. But they start bringing up the whole black community on that one issue.
Right.
So.
And that's what they do. But here's the problem, what I say with that. After slavery, post-slavery, when families were stopped being broken up, okay, 1865 or whatever time your state decided to act right, okay, you had Reconstructionist Jim Crow segregation, and of course, Jim Crow segregation went all the way basically, again, back to about 1964, whatever time your state decided to act right, okay? Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a question. Black families were a unit then. After slavery, black families, some were reunited. Black folks had their own towns. We did Black Wall Street. We had Harlem, which was the Renaissance district. We had all this tight family unit, okay, with black folks. Now, here's my question. If you want to sit around here and argue that Reverend Al Sharpton is race baiting, okay, if you saying that Reverend Al Sharpton is race baiting, where was all this so-called unity from white folks and equality when black folks came out of bondage and black family units were more united? You understand what I'm saying? When black folks united as a community, not only did we unite as a community, we had families, we had husbands being there. You know, whichever ones weren't lynched doing, you know, for whistling at white women or whatever, you know what I'm saying, doing the segregationist era. So it's a false equivalency. When I sit up here and see people say, well, you know, black people, we're going to get together. And see, I hate when I see talking heads like her. Okay, I hate when I see talking heads like her that get on a show and try to make an argument based on a false narrative. So, in other words, the problem with the black family is not racism. It's not racism. Never has been racism. The black community, it's never been racism. It's because black people don't know how to act. And see, that's the same argument that you hear a lot of these bigots and racists use when they say that, oh, and I think you've heard this from certain public figures, that black people, in fact, I want to say was it John Wayne was one of the arguments. He said, until black people know how to get their act together, they need to be subjugated. That was basically the gist of the argument. Okay, and that's the argument that you feed into when you say, well, the reason why black community is shattered is because, you know, they don't know how to act, first of all. You know, because it makes this argument that they have to be led by white folks, or they don't know how it is to be civilized. They don't know how it is to act in polite company. They don't know how to go anywhere without criminal behavior. And I saw this in a video on Facebook. It made me so mad. This girl was getting arrested for a traffic stop, and she's talking to the cop, and they're recording it, and it was on Vice. Actually, it wasn't on Facebook. Let me take that back. It was on Vice. It was on Vice, and the girl is talking to the cop, and he said, "Well, you know the reason why?" He said, "Cops have a certain attitude, black people." He said, "Because he said, first of all, blacks tend to act violent when you approach them. That's their mentality. That's their perception." That's their perception, is that blacks are violent. And he said that it seems that, and I mean, we're recording the camera in this, and you're listening to this cop say this with this girl in the back seat that he's taking in for what you call disorderly conduct. And he's saying that that's what my cop, you know, what fellow officers think. He said, I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist, but he said that's the perception out there that black people are violent. He said they don't know how to act when you approach them. They're ready to fight. You see what I'm saying? So it's this narrative, and Dave, I'm going to let you chime in because I know you have something to say on that. Is that black people don't know how to act. So when we talk about Black Panther, when we talk about blacks not being looked at as drug dealers or dope people or pimps or hustlers, thugs, you understand what I'm saying? When you see that, then we can go back and we can have a serious conversation about why people are mad. Why would you be mad, conservatives? Okay? If you see black people winning, if you see black people doing something by side trying to so-called break in your house or sit around here and try to carjack you, why do you sit around here when you see black people self-sufficient? Didn't you say you don't want to take care of us anyway? That we are lazy and we don't know how to act and we want to sit on. Now you see a movie where black people are self-sufficient, but you know why we're not really self-sufficient? Because we didn't have the help and the interaction of the colonizer. And because the colonizer is not represented in that movie to any degree, now it's a problem. So now we cannot compete where we don't compare. Because the reason why I'm saying is we can't compete with white folks. Let me tell you why. Because we don't compare to them in their perception.
Right.
We're below them. And I'm not going to, let me take that back before I get in, you know. I'm not going to say all white people because let me understand this. And I want everybody to get this. Not all white people have that mindset. I'm not talking about white people because we're not going to suggest all white people are racist. But there are some white people. I'm against people that have white supremacist mentality. And those are the white folks that believe in having that white people are inherently superior to anybody else. And don't get me wrong, it ain't just subject to white folks. You also have immigrants in this country or people from other countries that have a white supremacist mindset. Right. And of course, you got some Negroes like that too. Yep. Deneen Borelli, yeah, I threw that shade. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't shade. That was the whole tree. So, Dave, let me get your take on this, bro. Just real quick.
Related to why they're mad about Black Panther?
Yeah,
I don't care.
About that? Well, of course
I don't care.
Cares, but we don't compete because we don't compare.
But here's the point: we have to, as Black people, have to stop being concerned about what white people think about us.
Yeah, that's pretty much
that's just the bottom line on that. What we have to do, as far as Black Panther is concerned. The reason those mentalities are out there is because we've allowed the media to portray those mentalities from the inception of video. I mean, Birth of a Nation in the 1900s began to portray those stereotypes of black men. Right. This whole thing about the lack of black fatherhood, that's just a bald-faced lie.
Right.
You know, because if you go ahead and look at any study, recent studies say black men take care of their children more than any other ethnic group. That includes white men. But what do we hear people talking about that? I tell people all the time, we do more to criminalize our own than police. Classic example, when that boy was shot in North Little Rock. Maybe he shouldn't have been out there, but nobody asked the question, did the police follow the law? That question still hadn't been answered. You see? So until we understand that, look, I'm going to be honest with you, we are our own worst enemy. Until we start taking responsibility and paying for what we want. I mean, just this gun debate that people talk about. Those little white kids, they're going to Washington, D.C., but the question is, black kids have been murdered in the street every day. But black people won't go out and march. They won't go out and support. They won't go out and boycott a business. Walmart right here in this state is killing the school system that is overwhelmingly black. But guess where black people are? At Walmart. Okay? See,
Do nothing the next day.
right, that's my point.
Right. We don't have any wherewithal.
Malcolm
Right.
says you get your freedom by letting your enemy know you're willing to do anything to get your freedom.
Right.
Then and only then will you get your freedom. Now, until we understand that I'm not saying armed revolution, but we can have an economic revolution.
Yeah.
You see, all you got to do. Well, look what FedEx has done with this gun debate. Look what Kroger, Walmart, Dick's, all of these. Because people said, "Hey, you don't stop selling them guns, we're not gonna spend money at your store." Okay, what they do? It didn't take a week, bro. But if black people won't even come together to target a business like that. So why are you complaining? That's how I look at it.
Right.
Because until we take responsibility for our own destiny,
Right.
it's going to continue because it's clear they don't care about you.
Right.
That's clear. They're telling you. They elected the most racist president in American history. And there's some booger bears back in the day.
Oh.
I can say Andrew Jackson, the Indian killer.
Right.
Okay? So
Zachary Taylor, we
they're
can go on.
telling you. And now, did y'all hear about this? That now that the African-controlled South African Congress, who is now taking the land back that was stolen from their original ancestors, now those white racists are petitioning the United States to come over here as immigrants. Y'all better wake up.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Y'all better wake up because they're telling you what they are doing to you. And we running around saying, oh, kumbaya, let's love them. Look. We don't have a place. I can ask you right now, where in Little Rock alone can you go and you call it the black community?
Other than places that are horrible, that you would really want to live in, like we could say Hanger Hill,
Right.
a black community.
Is that a community or a neighborhood?
Southwest Little Rock, isn't that?
Is that a community? Because they're
right, the
here, there's a difference.
It's community. They have a couple stores.
Oh, wait a minute.
right.
Wait a minute. There's a difference between a community and a neighborhood. A community is somewhere where you can go and you hire people. You have your own businesses. You have your own schools. You have your own libraries. That's a community.
We have none of that.
We have none of that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So until we understand that we got to start taking care of our own, I tell people all the time, forget this Republican and Democrat crap. You need to start asking your politicians, what are you going to do for black people? Not everybody, but for black people. That's how I look at this.
But when they did that, when they asked Obama, a lot of people, black people were divided when they did Obama like that. And they asked him, what have Obama done specifically for black people? What policies that he passed that was for black people only? And a lot of black people got into fights over
Because a
that.
lot of black people, first of all, come on, let's stop with that. Because I'm just saying, not to you, Head.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Black people, he did do policies. Black, he went and got the congressional money that had been stalled forever for the black farmers. He did try to do funding for AP. Look, now could he have done more? Of course he could have. I'm not going to sit around here and say that Obama was just the black people's greatest hope. President, because we already know what he had to deal with as president.
because he wasn't. It's not like he was King Obama, where he could just make a rule and it's automatically
We
in the
getting rid of
law.
all the white folk this week.
Yeah.
Yay!
He had a white Republican Congress and Senate that was dead set against everything he brought up, even if it was to their own detriment. Just because he brought it up, nah, we're gonna veto this. We're not gonna approve this. So he did what he could do, and plus he couldn't come in being Malcolm X. He had to come in as Jackie Robinson.
Right.
You know, Jackie Robinson wasn't the best baseball player at the time, but he had the right mentality where he would open, being there, be able not to scare them white folks,
Right.
and allow it for another black person to come on after him.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. You always and somebody made a good point, and I think it was either Reverend Al Sharpton or Van Jones. He said he was the first, and see that's what happened when you come in as the first. You can't come in being radical. You got to kind of play along, kind of find out where the cracks of the crevices are, and then kind of get in there.
Let me read something to you real fast.
Okay, go ahead.
This is former Republican Senator George Voinovich. He admits that in 2008, Republicans were ordered
Yep.
to block everything Obama wanted, even if it would help the country.
Right.
If Obama, and quote, if Obama wanted it, we Republicans had to be against it. Okay, so that's to your point. But here's the other thing: what we don't understand about government is that the president really doesn't have control of what your policy is in your
Right,
state.
Right, that's true.
Okay,
It's your locals.
it's your local
Right,
representatives.
right.
You see, so what you should be asking, not what Obama has done for us or what Trump is doing.
Right.
You should be asking the question: what are my state representatives are doing? What are my U.S. congressmen and senators are doing? Because they are the ones that hold the purse strings.
Right.
You see, you understand what I'm saying? But because we don't understand that, because we don't have enough information being translated down. Because look, where do you go to get your information? Let me give you a classic example that really annoyed me. Okay, y'all know the what was the name of the Apollo? The Apollo Theater. You know, back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, now it's on Fox right now, right?
Right.
Okay, it was on last night.
Oh, well, I missed that.
Yeah, would you watch it?
No, I watch it, yeah, but I didn't.
Why
know
would
it
you
was on.
watch it?
It was black.
It was black, right?
Right, it was black.
Okay, but it was on Fox.
Yeah.
Y'all get where I'm going?
Yeah.
Did you know that Fox is the most racist
Yeah, Fox
television
News.
network
Uh-huh.
in the history? Yet, see, this is the little games that they play.
They use
Is
us
that
to
they
get up their
use us
viewership, yeah.
because have I not told you about how they make money off of television? Let me give you a quick.
Well, beside ads and
The-
advertising?
okay, you all understand Nielsen ratings, right? Just quickly, because a lot of people don't understand this. Okay, so for decades, when they started doing surveys, black people are reluctant to fill out surveys simply because black people historically don't trust the government, the census, all of that. Okay, so in order for Nielsen, before the internet and stuff came along,
Right.
Nielsen actually used to send you what is called a diary in the mail to certain families they would pick out of certain communities, and you would fill those diaries out and send them back to Nielsen, and they paid you like $100. I was a Nielsen family at one point,
Right.
and they paid us like $100. Okay, if you sent it back. So what they began to realize that, hey, look, black people are not sending these diaries back. All right? So the diaries that can't come back from black communities, they gave them a higher rating. So let me give you an example. A diary from a white community may be worth 1 point. A diary from a black community is worth 1.5 points. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's how they began to build their repertoire as far as being able to build ads on television.
Right.
So what Fox did when they started off, if you go back, I don't know how old you all are, but they started off with predominantly black and minority shows.
Right.
Okay?
Living
Because they knew that we have to build our diary. So if we get more black people looking at our network,
Right.
then we can take that money, we can take those diaries and show the advertisers that these are the amount of listeners that we have, and we can build top dollar. And they built their network on black and minority shows.
Now you
okay?
can't find a black show on
Okay,
Fox.
remember in Living Color?
Living Color.
Okay,
Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence. It just goes on and on and
No
on.
Time
If you
at
go
the
back,
Apollo.
there was
Right.
what was the police show that they had with
21 Jump Street.
21 Jump
21
Street.
Jump Street.
That was Malik Dioba,
Yeah,
right?
Malik
Dioba, yeah.
Okay.
No,
New York
that's New York
Undercover.
Undercover.
Okay, New York Undercover. Okay,
Yeah,
so my
them
point
too.
being
I
is,
missed that show.
this is what, and they were great shows.
great
Okay,
shows, right.
So let's bring it forward now. So over the years, Fox has been the most poison pill in America. I think people agree with that, but they're using black people to make their money off of you. So now they're running the most howled show in the history of black entertainment in Harlem. You see, on their show, and black people are flocking to their show, not understanding that every time your eyeballs are on that station, you are feeding into the racism that has their foot on your neck. And until we understand that, It's gonna continue, bro.
That's why they got
Well,
that.
then they sell off. I thought they sold off the 21st Century Fox. But kept the Fox News.
that's the-
That's
That's
the
the
movie
division.
network.
Right, the movie.
There's
Right.
still a television wing as well.
Oh, okay.
So, and either way, if it has Fox on it, they're still making money off of it.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? So until look what they've done. What's the favorite show on Fox? Lucius and
Empire.
Empire.
Okay,
And they still
you tell her, and I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it home here because if you serious about your freedom,
Right.
then I don't care how pretty Lucius is. I don't care about the Showtime at Apollo. If a racist tells me that he hates my guts simply because I'm black, I am not gonna take my money to him. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm simply not gonna do that. That's what these people said about these guns. They've taken our tactics, the most valuable tactic in the 60s, and turned it around and used it for our benefit, and we won't use that tactic ourselves. Look at college football. Jalen Rose just this week said, hey, black players ought to boycott college basketball March Madness. You had black folks running around, oh, God, no! Oh, God, no!
LeBron James said it was corrupt. So.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So until we as black people understand that we have to take control of our own destiny.
They figured us out a long time ago.
We're in a stink right now, and we have leaders around this country who are black,
Right.
who are afraid. They've bought into it. So that's how I look at this. Until we start paying attention. Look, it's your dollars, brothers. It's where you spend your money. That's the only thing they understand.
Right.
You know, when was it? The Southern Southern Poverty Law Center.
Right.
When the Southern Poverty Law Center started suing the KKK, remember that back in the late 90s?
Late 90s, right.
And they were winning those judgments.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't hear nothing about the KKK, did you? Think about that. It's about money.
Right.
When you kill that money snake, everything else goes away. And until we as black people understand that, hey, look, all right, if I can't vote in your state, my kid ain't gonna go play at your university. That's what that's what it boils down
Well,
to.
break it down too, and let's get to this. Boris, I'm gonna come back to you.
You live right now?
Huh? Yeah, we live. I'm live.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize all the confetti or nothing. Like
There's confetti on my page. Glittering. Okay. Well, it's my birthday week. You see, I got my little Pisces. The season. Me and Cudjo, we Piscean. So yeah, everybody been talking about my filters.
yeah, I like, where are we at?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I thought I tagged out, but anyway.
Yeah, you did. That's why I'm looking. That's how I saw the little glitters
So understand this, folks, and this is why I have a problem with what Miss Kuna Matata said, Miss Borelli, which she has a very conservative white husband, by the way, and it's nothing. Like I said, I ain't talking about Ebony and Ivory because I don't have an issue with that. You love who you love. Here's my problem: you're sitting around here thinking that, and Dave, to your point. You think that just because you have a husband that's well-to-do, because her husband's a doctor, that you think that your money makes you equal to them. They don't care if you have money. You're still you N-word to them. But when you make them pay attention is when you affect theirs.
Well, let me give you a classic example. Y'all been following the saga of Michael Steele and the Republican Party?
Oh, yeah.
He's a classic example of what you just said. So,
Right. He learned
so check this out. So the day after that they basically insulted Michael Steele by saying, hey, yeah, you were only elected as a leader of the RNC because you were black, and we needed a token. That's what they were saying.
Whoa.
The day after, the Republican Party was honoring African Americans, and they didn't even invite the first black Republican head of the RNC.
Dang.
That's an example.
He learned, but see, that's the point.
He started waking up a little bit over the
He's
years.
actually been because he doesn't like Trump anyway. Okay, but see, he's gotten more money because you notice now you see Michael Steele on MSNBC now. He used to be on Fox News a lot during the Bush administration. He on MSNBC now as a contributor. Let me give you an understanding, and this is why I hate the coons. I can't do the coons. Now I can't do it. I can't tolerate them. I can't deal with them. I can't even let them breathe the same air as me because here's the problem. Y'all not understand. Amarosa, I'm sorry, sister. Just because you gone, you do not get an invite to the barbecue. You do not get an invite to the barbecue. We might send you a Christmas card, but you still disinvited. Okay, because here's the problem with all these black folks thinking, well, I'm a well-to-do black person, and I vote Republican because people vote their pocketbooks. So they get a little money. Black folk get a little fancy. They get a little bougie. Like, oh, we're gonna go Republican because that's where the money's at. They believe in the money. Okay, as long as you keep on sitting around here thinking again that your money makes you equal to them because you live by them, and because see, white folks like, oh, them the good Negroes. They all right. Look at he drive a Mercedes. She drive a Lexus. She ain't got no red hair in her head. Them kids ain't wearing a bunch of Jordans. Yeah, they them good black folk. Them good black folk. Just because you got money does not make you equal to them. The only time that they pay attention to what your financial or economic status can do is when you affect theirs. So you don't compete where you don't compare. Okay? So you better understand this. Black folk, black conservatives, 'cause I'm not going to say black Republicans, black conservatives, you better understand. You can marry them. You can hang out with them. You can laugh at their corny jokes. You can hang and clap for them when they dancing in the club with no rhythm. They do not care as long as you do not threaten their white privilege and white supremacist views. And if you want to go out here and play kumbaya because you married a doctor that happened to be last name is Weinberg and he's a Republican. And it's same go and look, and I'm not gonna just say for black folks. That goes to any of you other minorities and people that are brown skinned. If you think that just because you're and I have to say this because this is overwhelmingly for our Asian brothers and sisters because an enormous amount of them vote Republican. But white people have been making fun of them forever. Okay, but one thing I would give my Asian brothers and sisters, they know how to get in the system and go and create their own communities. You see what I'm saying?
Like
Chinatown.
Like the Latinos.
The Latinos spend their money with the...
Yeah, man, you go to Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Tijuana now. They have their own Spanish-speaking stores, grocery stores, markets, churches, schools, daycares, everything.
Where I was at.
Yeah, thank you. We don't have one.
That goes back to what I asked the question. Where's our community?
We're too comfortable.
We've been in here. We had the Little Rock 9 and Little Rock. Where's the black community? Where are the black stores? Where are the black businesses?
Integration.
You see?
Integration weakened us. It made us comfortable. It made us want to be a part instead of having our own.
Right. And look, okay. There's not a problem with trying to be a homogeneous, that's a big word for those that do not know, community globally, because the world eventually is going to be globally connected. So it's coming whether we like it or not. But the problem becomes is it's hard to be homogeneous society when you have people that still live in a white supremacist colonial view of how things. That's why the funniest thing to me that I heard from any of the people who were not the supporting actors in Black Panther is when they called what's his name? I can't think of his name because he was in the movie Lord of the Rings. I can't think of his name. Anthony Freeman. He said, yeah, colonizer. Because she wasn't saying it to be racist. She was saying it to say, when I see your people, that's what I think of y'all. Because that is the history that you have. And plus, he was working for the CIA, which was one of the biggest colonizers around the globe. Okay? So he said, when she said colonizer, she wasn't saying it necessarily to offend him. She was saying it because that was her perception of how Caucasians have acted around the world in the history of Wakanda. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna take us a break, and then we got to come back with the trending. So for those of you guys, stay with us. We're gonna be back because we got some new craziness just popped off. We'll be back. Devil's Advocate.
Now I don't take pleasure in a man's pain, but my wrath will come down like the cold rain, and there won't be no shelter, no place you can go. Hey, hey, hey.
Having issues with child support, traffic tickets, criminal matters, family, wills, estates, and probate matters? Call Jimmy C. Morris of the Morris Law Firm here in Little Rock, Arkansas, an aggressive powerhouse attorney that will fight for you. Call him 7 days a week from Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and from Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekend appointments are also available. And also, check out Jimmy Morris on The Devil's Advocate once a month for our infamous Ask the Attorney segment. segment as he talks about social, political, and legal issues. Check him out, and his dedicated staff of professionals will fight for justice for you. Again, that's the Jimmy C. Morris Law Firm. His number is 501-319-7647. That's the Jimmy C. Morris Law Firm. His number is 501-319-7647. Call him.
Do you have a business, or are you looking to start a business? Do you need more customers and traffic to your website? Visit ourblackbusiness.com and sign up for free tips and strategies on how to grow or start your business. Our Black Business has free information on marketing, website design, website traffic, acquiring customers, affiliate programs, and so much more. All of our information is free of charge, so please visit ourblackbusiness.com today.
Okay. We, ladies and gentlemen, are back. I'm here with, of course, my man Ed Sanford, Joe Chestnut, and Super Dave. Now we get ready to hit up on trending. So, of course, we're just now getting over, and, Dave, you mentioned it real quickly about the shooting in Florida, in Parkland, Florida. And, of course, let's go to the part because there's been some new interesting developments in this wacky country of ours since then. Just like when I think that our president, Cheeto Jesus, cannot get any lower in the stupidity that he says at press conferences, to the foolishness that he says on Twitter, to the literal garbage that he puts out on a daily basis, the lies, the half-truths, all of that. Then one day, the next morning, the sun comes up. We got a call.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
OJ about to come out with something else, y'all.
I think we got somebody. Hello, this is Devil's Advocate Radio. It's your dime, your dollar. We'll make you holler. Go ahead.
Do I get the change back?
Yes, sir. 99 cents. That's the price of stars. You can see ghosts for 99 cents. That is $1 minus 1 penny.
Well, I want my money back in Bitcoin.
Okay, bet. Well, Bitcoin tank. Let's see what the stock market doing. So what's going on, Stanley? Talk to me.
Bitcoin still strong, man. It didn't tank yesterday. Bitcoin was straight.
Oh, Bitcoin straight today? Okay.
It's Trump proof.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's Trump proof? Okay, bet. Well, Stanley, we over here with your boy Cudjo over here. I think he's hungry.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I want to give a couple of shout outs right quick before we talk about what's going on in the world. I want to give a shout out to all the women with straight hairlines and no edges.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Repeat that again for us, Stan. I had to take my mic off.
I'm sorry. I want to give a shout out to all the women with straight hairlines and no edges.
Oh, well, it's tax season, so what you they go. It's the transformation to the creature. So for all those ladies, yes, we understand taxes are coming in. So if your edges have disappeared, or if you got new ones, just understand we knew what you looked like before the transmogrification. That's a big word for those of y'all that do not know. Go ahead, cut y'all.
And I want to.
Oh yeah, they about to be real stuck up right about now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to send a shout out to all the baby that allowed their text when they had the kid all year.
So okay, yeah, and for those black folks that claiming 10 babies with different last names, y'all know better. Y'all better watch out because
Hey, it could happen though.
Yeah, it can happen. But they watching taxes this year, so I just want black folks not to get caught up.
Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna say. No, I'm not gonna even say that. Never mind.
Yeah. Shout out to all the kids with dual citizenship that's got baby daddies in Canada, America, and Puerto Rico.
Boy, look here. I got a question for you. We got some trending going on, and I usually like to bring you in with the trending. Let me ask you a question because we got some issues going on here. Did you see that? We just had another school shooting. This just happened. They just reported it, so we're not going to speak a lot on it because we don't know the details coming out. Did you see this new school shooting that they just had in Michigan?
Yeah, and I saw it here at one of the college campus. I think today too.
Yes.
I just think we got to do a better job of getting guns out of fools' hands.
Yeah.
You know, we give them access to everything, but you know that's the NRA. You got your president, so
Yeah,
you know, deal with your results. But shout out to Delta and United Airlines for ending their partnerships with NRA. I think that's awesome.
right.
But
I'm a fan of Delta
you know,
now.
These folks act like Walking Dead is real life. Like we killing folks like they zombies, man. It's ridiculous. You know,
Right, like we suffering from the zombie apocalypse. And
Right, yeah.
and here's the thing, because Dave, you did mention that when we talk about boycott, they just made me a fan of Delta. You saw where Delta ended its relationship with NRA.
Yeah, but they peanuts be stale, man. They got the different
Yeah, I
kind
don't
of
like
peanuts.
that though.
But here's a point. So again, we talk about how you use the dollar to influence public thought. So when Delta said, "Hey, we're going to end," and really they were just basically giving discounts. So it wasn't like they're going to lose a lot of money, but they were giving discounts, just like all these companies have a certain card. You know, you can get a card for just about everything, any company now. So that they're not losing any money now, but it was symbolic. So then here's the thing. So the lieutenant governor of Georgia comes back and says, "Okay, since you're going to do that." There was a bill getting ready to be passed in the Georgia State House that was going to cut some of the fuel tax that Delta was going to have to kick out. They've now killed that bill because of Delta's stance. So what the government is doing in Georgia is doing what we ought to be doing, is when they tick you off, we're not going to spend money with you. But again, black people won't do that. That's the problem. That's the problem, folks. We got to why aren't we using the same taxes that they use? Why are we afraid to use the same tactics against them that they use against us? Why? That's the question we ought to be asking our politicians, our preachers, our teachers, everybody. In West Virginia, and your call is a teacher, in West Virginia, they have now been on strike for 7 days. 7 days. All right? Now, what did they say? We are the worst paid in the country.
Right.
We need a raise. Our kids are getting this. Our kids are not getting that. If you don't do this, we're going to strike. The question is, when will they do it in Little Rock? Because guess what? The state is taking over your school board. You don't even have a voice in your schools. It's about understanding how you can control government. Okay, that's what this is all about. NRA has power, but you know what what Republicans are more afraid of is your vote.
Right.
Yeah, we vote.
But we ain't gonna go vote. I ain't got time, and ain't gonna do nothing for me. You get what you get.
Right.
I'm just being real with you, folks.
And that's why I have a big problem with all these. I love my people, but these overly woke people, they don't believe in doing anything but complain. They don't want to vote, but they complain about the government. They say the government doesn't matter, but then they're always talking against the government. You can't have it both ways. If you want to be a part of the solution, you have to be a part of the process. Because not voting is the result of all these little hicks running every state representative and every Senate in the South. Because we have a portion of our population and black folks that just too lazy to vote, and another part that are supposedly woke and says it doesn't do any good, so they don't vote. And then we just have that few minority of us that vote, and we're already a minority, so we're cutting ourselves in three, and only 1/3 of us are voting, and that's no way we can do anything.
How do you beat a man at war? You understand his tactics. So that means once you understand his tactics, then you use them against him. So one of his tactics is to control the money. How do they control the money? Through politics. So in order to control the money, you have to get your butt to the polls and vote. Period. End of story. All right? You have no voice.
Oh, hold on. Is Stanley still there? Stanley, you still there, bro?
Man, y'all hung up on me, man. First of all, my phone ain't working.
Well, buy my phones, bro. You know. Okay. So do you agree? Because while we talk about that, understand this too, bro. I wanted to point this out. Did you see about the teacher that shot a gun off in the school in Georgia? And
Yeah, I think that person's trying to send a point to.
Right. But this is your president, not mine, or whoever, it might not be yours either, that wants to agree to putting teachers in school with guns. What's the worst that could happen?
Well, I just,
And then a gun goes off in the school, not even a week and a half later, by a teacher. But these people, and you got these buffoons, I think teachers should be armed. Right.
Well, but I mean, you look at it's the same teachers that's having sex with kids and selling
Thank
drugs
you.
in school and everything else.
Well, I want to know where they was at when I was.
gun now.
Because my teachers when I growing up was looking a little raggedy. But I mean,
more years, so it ain't matter.
so
I'm done celebrating President's Day for 3 years. It don't even matter.
no, okay. See, that's what I'm talking about. So we agreed that and here's one even more. And see, this is what I want to talk about because this kind of directly affected the room. We talk about believers and non-believers. Stanley, you got to talk on this because I know you've seen it. Did you see the church in Pennsylvania? The Unification Church where people are worshiping the AR-15. Did you see that? Please tell me you saw that.
No, man, I don't have cable.
Okay, well, see, there you go. I can't do it.
But I do have
Those
a
are
question. though. What's
Caucasian
going
brothers
on
and
with
sisters?
Rock? They have all the cocaine and the drugs and stuff. What's going on with that?
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now, do you want those type of teachers having access to guns in school? They probably
Well,
have.
she had guns in school. She just didn't get a chance to get to it for the FBI showed up.
Right. And see, here's my whole problem. They got a church, and I know you've seen it, Dave. The Unification. This is the Korean church that was from the moons. They had a ceremony where they married their gun, talking about the AR-15 is the rod of God, described in Revelation.
And
Man,
the
you-
rod of
you-
God,
you
they're
go to
protecting
bed
them.
early.
It's protecting them from whom?
Thank you.
You're missing my point.
Oh, I already know who it is protecting.
Okay.
them from.
See,
It
in
ain't-
their minds, they understand. I'm gonna tell you, folks, they understand where this country's going. It's going minority. They're gonna be
But they not
minority.
realize they minorities. The Koreans not know. And there was a black dude in the video. I saw a black dude.
I'm
in the video.
telling you.
I had to go and tilt my head to the right to understand if I was still in America. Hold
there's
on,
a
Stanley.
short-
'Cause
okay.
Cudjo just messing up today. Okay.
So they got me on the bed, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, but I saw out of my Facebook memories from 5 years ago, I saw a post where I made say, "Hey, racism is not gonna matter because in 10 years we're all gonna look Puerto Rican anyway." Because where everybody is mixing and matching and
Right.
intermingling,
Right.
and just 5 years later, you see people you think are black walking down the street, but you don't know what they are. You don't know if they're
Right.
Latino, black, white, mixed, just dark skin, got a tan. Because right now, the cultures are intermingling. People are starting to, get up with each other, and that's the biggest thing that our Caucasian brothers and sisters fear. They fear of losing their race,
Identity.
identity, because if you put one drop of black blood in a
Right.
white person, oh, that kid is black.
It's called white genetic annihilation. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing is the person that coined that phrase.
Because they're an anomaly. They're not even really supposed to be here.
Right. Well, people will take that the wrong way.
Yeah.
But genetically speaking, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
But here's what you need to be why they're concerned is because just go back and look at history. When they hung black men, why did they castrate them?
So
They hung other people too.
right.
That's what we don't know. What people don't realize. They hung other races too. They didn't castrate them. Why did they castrate black men? Not only did they castrate them, they also kept their genitals. And many times, a lot of Southern farmers would keep their genitals in jars in root cellars. And when their boys would come over and have drinks, they would go down in the root cellar and brag about the size of those genitalia. Okay. Now that sounds morbid, but y'all follow me just for a moment. All right. Because as you just said, my brother, see, I can kill every black man on this planet except one, and he can repopulate the entire earth with black people.
Right.
Okay. White people can't do that. That's called a recessive gene. That's just science.
Right.
That's not racism. That's a fact.
Right.
That's what white genetic annihilation is all about, and that's what they are afraid of.
Yep.
I'm just letting y'all know. Do a little research. Okay. Didn't
Dave,
mean to get that deep on y'all.
You like send me
That's
like
why
a
they're always
flash
trying to
drive
keep
on
their
that
race pure.
You,
Because
you said what now?
Can you send me a flash drive, man, so I could just be deep like you? I'd be asking the woke community for that type of stuff. All they can tell me about is Wakanda.
Well, here's what I'll do. I do have a book list that I give to people who want to read a lot more on the stuff that I read. And a lot of stuff I read is about white people. By the way, this weekend they're having the history of the Pope that's going to be on CNN.
Uh-oh.
Y'all need to watch it.
oh yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
definitely
Okay. Now I know a lot of people say, "Why?" You should watch it.
Yeah, you should
because
watch it, folks.
you'll understand how Catholicism has played an intricate role in bigotry and racism throughout the history of its inception. Okay, because a lot of people don't realize it was the Catholic Church who waged war on Ethiopia. The reason Ethiopia is the way it is today is because of the Catholic Church. In 1939, when Haile Selassie, who was the king of Ethiopia, said he was a direct descendant of Jesus Christ, and the Catholic Church said, "Hey, there's no way you could be because Jesus was white."
Oh, man. There
Okay,
you go.
and they consistently waged war on Ethiopia through Hitler
And Mussolini.
and Mussolini, and that's why Ethiopia is the way it is today.
Right? Did you not?
But didn't Ethiopia win those wars though? 'Cause
Yes,
that's the-
yes.
Yeah, or-
Hey, look,
or with
listen,
legal
let me
stalemate,
just
right.
tell you something.
Yeah. Right.
Ethiopia is the baddest country in Africa. You know why? Because when
gonna say Iman.
when Muhammad came through and swept Africa with Islam, Ethiopia is the only Christian nation left. They could not convert the Ethiopians.
Especially on the eastern side.
Okay?
Yeah.
Queen Candace was an Ethiopian. She was a black warrior. You see, they could not convert them. So, yeah, when we look and laugh at Ethiopia and what it is today, y'all need to recognize. But y'all say y'all woke though.
Okay, hold on, bro.
That's the only place in Africa that wasn't colonized.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Couldn't they were the Ethiopians were vicious fighters.
Right, and
You
that
know.
was the thing. And think about it this way: when they went into Africa during World War II, why did they go after Ethiopia? Ethiopia wasn't even at their concern a developing country. They weren't even developed. They were fighting with primitive weapons against the weapons that they had in Europe. But we'll talk about that on next show. Stanley, I want to thank you for calling in, bro. I'm sorry we're running short on time. Anything else you want to say before you go? Because you know you always got something to say there, bro. Go on, hit us
I
up.
just want to say to everybody listening, Mama, I love you, P.O.P. baby. Oh,
Well, you-
Oh, yeah. Stanley, don't be leaking no photos.
well, you know. He went to Wakanda last week. He finally went to see it. So I want to thank Stanley. Thank you, bro, for joining us in. So let's do a bit. Cause let me hit on this before we get ready to go. We got a few minutes left. See, it's foolishness like what I saw at that church. It's foolishness like that makes me understand why atheists are being created by the droves. When I see somebody have a cult, and I mean, there's a difference between spirituality, religiosity, and cultism. Some people say how. But anyway, because you can be religious without being spiritual. You can also be spiritual without being overly religious. Okay? Our ancestors were spiritual and not overly religious. Okay? Then you have, what I call the Abrahamic religions to some degree that have gotten overly religious and not very spiritual. Okay? And then you got the people that are the wackaloons, as I call them, which are the people that believe in it like it's joining a gang. It's a cult and groupthink mentality. And my thing about it is here's where I got the issue. When you see why people don't go to church anymore, why people don't believe in God anymore, why people don't believe in a higher being, it's because, and I hate to say it, when you look at what they see, when people sit around here and marry a gun and run around in the church, Cudjo, you got to see this video, bro.
Oh yeah, I started watching it, then I just couldn't.
I
couldn't deal with it. I was
Crowns
like,
of
nah.
bullets. Crowns of bullets,
Yeah.
Dave.
I just let crazy people be crazy.
I mean, it's stuff like this gonna bring this to a head. And then you wonder why you got certain groups of quote unquote Christians that are making people become atheists by the drove. When I simply see it, I'm like, no, I can't do it. I just don't get it. And then, then you want to sit around here and mix religion in with social economics and political view and bias. And then you wonder why people who sit up and say, if that's what God about, no, I'll pass.
Sometimes when when you're looking for God, you have to look past the representation that man is putting down, putting upon it, because we got some crazy black churches too.
Yeah, we do. Up here talking about I need a jet to get around. Look here, y'all. I want to thank Cudjo for joining us. And this is the first time I think I've ever got him in 2 consecutive weeks.
Hey, I'm doing good.
Yeah, you're doing good. And he not drunk this time. That's the even better part. Okay.
I went to rehab.
Okay, see. They gotta make me go to rehab. Okay. I want to thank you, Head Sanford. My man is always holding it down for us on Facebook and on YouTube and everything. Guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. We need the hits. Real quick. Acrimony. That is the movie we're going to see March 30th. Django's bringing food. Breckenridge Theater. Before we do the movie Tavern, that's our thing. Of course, our L. Stapleton. Angry Dave. Thank you for joining us, giving us our historical lesson. And, of course, Stanley, thank you for calling us in. Now I'm going to let them take over with Black Focus. They get ready to go and give you guys some afternoon knowledge. My man over here, Rob Webb. So, don't forget, it's on us. Next week, we'll see you here. And don't forget, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of Hell's Kitchen. Bye, folks.